Have you ever asked yourself, what's the point of all this? You wake up, go to work, scroll your phone, chase money, chase love, chase distractions, and yet, deep down, that quiet question never leaves. Why? What does it all mean? For the French philosopher Albert Camus, the shocking answer was simple. It doesn't mean anything at all. Life is absurd, the universe doesn't care, and that realization can either crush you or set you free. Today, I'll show you Camus's method for winning in a world without meaning, a guide for surfing the absurdity of life itself. Camus said the absurd is born from a clash. Our hunger for meaning collides with the silence of the universe. Think about it. Human beings are storytellers by nature. We can't help it. We look for patterns in the clouds. We see faces in the shadows. We connect random events into stories. When something bad happens, we tell ourselves, maybe it happened for a reason. When we succeed, we whisper, this must be destiny. We look at the stars at night and imagine they are sending us a message. We go through heartbreak and think, surely there's a lesson in all this pain. Our minds are meaning-making machines. But what happens when we look up to the universe and it refuses to answer? What happens when we shout, why am I here? And the only response is silence. That silence is the absurd. You feel it in the emptiness after a victory that doesn't satisfy. You feel it when you've done everything right, studied, worked, achieved the milestones that were supposed to make you happy. But still, in the quiet moments, you sense something missing. You feel it when you scroll through the news and see chaos, injustice, and randomness everywhere. And you realize there's no master plan, no invisible hand making sure everything balances out. And that realization can hit like a punch in the stomach. It feels like the ground has been pulled out from under you. For some, it's terrifying. For others, it feels like betrayal. Many panic in that moment. They whisper, if there's no meaning, then maybe life is worthless. But Camus challenges us to look again, to flip the perspective. He tells us, this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning. Because when the universe refuses to give you meaning, it doesn't leave you empty-handed. It leaves you free. Free to create, free to decide, free to live not according to some invisible script, but according to the choices you make, moment by moment. When we first encounter the absurd, the silence of the universe, the emptiness at the core of our search for meaning, it feels unbearable. For most people, the immediate reaction is to escape, and who could blame them? The weight of realizing that life may have no ultimate purpose can feel crushing. Camus describes 3 ways people try to cope with this unbearable truth. The first is giving up entirely. Some feel so overwhelmed by the meaninglessness that they imagine ending their life. To stop the questioning, to stop the suffering, they consider giving up entirely. But Camus says this is not a solution. It is surrender. By abandoning life, you give up the very experience that makes the absurd relevant, the chance to rebel, to live consciously, to confront reality as it is. The second escape is what he called philosophical abandonment. This is far more subtle and far more common. It is when we invent illusions to hide from the absurd. Some turn to religion, claiming there is a divine plan that answers all questions. Others cling to ideologies, politics, or self-help mantras as though they are universal truths. Even comforting sayings like, everything happens for a reason, can become a kind of philosophical escape when repeated mindlessly. Philosophical abandonment is seductive because it feels safe. It promises certainty where there is none. But Camus warns, it is still a death, not of the body, but of the mind. By replacing reality with illusions, you refuse to face the world as it truly is. You hide from the challenge that gives life its unique intensity. And then there is the third path. Revolt, rebellion, not against society, not against fate, but against despair itself. It is the conscious decision to face the absurd without flinching, to stare at the emptiness and say, I will live anyway. Revolt is not a single act. It is a daily practice. Each morning, waking up despite knowing that the world offers no guarantee. Each choice you make, each action you take, knowing that the universe owes you nothing. That is courage. That is freedom. Imagine the small rebellions in your own life, choosing to create art even if no one sees it, loving someone even when it scares you, pursuing knowledge without expecting a reward. These are acts of revolt. They may seem ordinary, but they are profound. They are the antidote to despair. Because once you commit to living despite the absurd, something remarkable happens. The silence of the universe no longer terrifies you. You become unshakable. You claim your life, not from external meaning, but from the power of your own choices. And that is the essence of Camus' method, to survive the absurd, not by escaping it, but by meeting it head on, fully awake, fully aware, fully alive. Camus gives us one of the most powerful images of how to live with the absurd, the myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus, punished by the gods, must push a massive boulder up a mountain. Every time he reaches the top, it rolls back down, and he must push it again, forever. At first glance, it seems like the ultimate torture. Endless effort, no progress, no reward. What could be more meaningless? But think about it. How many of us live like Sisyphus every day? We wake up, work, commute, pay bills, face disappointments, and then start again. We push our stones, and sometimes it feels like nothing we do matters. Most people would despair in this situation. They would long for the boulder to disappear. They would crave meaning, purpose, an endpoint, but Camus asks us to see it differently. He says, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. Happy? How could anyone be happy with such a punishment? Because Sisyphus has a choice. Once he accepts his fate, once he stops wishing for something that will never come, he claims power over his own life. He can embrace the struggle itself. The gods cannot defeat him anymore because the strength lies in his acceptance, his consciousness, his rebellion. The meaning isn't at the top of the hill. The meaning is in the act of pushing itself. In every step, every strain of muscle, every moment of awareness, Sisyphus creates his own dignity. And so it is with us. The daily grind, the setbacks, the failures, they can feel meaningless. But if we meet them fully, consciously, with awareness and choice, we can transform even the hardest struggle into triumph. Sisyphus becomes a hero not by escaping the absurd, but by embracing it, by continuing despite it, fully awake, fully alive. So how do we apply this to our own lives? How do we take the philosophy of Camus off the page and into the streets, into our homes, into our daily routines? Camus' method is surprisingly simple, but it requires courage. Step 1. Recognize the absurd. Stop running. Stop hiding. Don't cover it with distractions, addictions, or false comforts. See the world as it is. Chaotic, silent, indifferent. Admit that life has no ultimate script. Step 2. Rebel. This isn't about loud gestures or dramatic declarations. Rebellion is a quiet, daily choice to wake up, to act, to keep living even when there is no cosmic promise of reward. Every time you choose to move forward despite fear, doubt, or despair, you are rebelling. Step 3. Embrace freedom. If there is no pre-written meaning, there is no limitation imposed by the universe. You are free, free to choose your path, free to create, to love, to fail, to try again. The absurd is not a prison, it is liberation. Step 4. Live with passion. Camus insists that the fullness of life comes from intensity, not because of a reward, not because of an endpoint, not because of ultimate meaning, but for the raw experience of being alive. Write, paint, sing, fight, love, dream, not because it matters to the universe, but because it matters to you. This is the essence of surfing the absurd, not escaping the waves, but learning to ride them. Not hoping the storm will end, but mastering your balance within it. Imagine living every moment with that awareness, that every choice, every action, every breath is yours and yours alone. That is power. That is freedom. That is the life of the absurd hero. So what does it mean to win in a world without meaning? It doesn't mean finding some secret key that unlocks life's purpose. It doesn't mean waiting for the universe to hand you answers. It means realizing there is no puzzle and still choosing to play the game fully and deliberately. Camus wrote, "In the midst of winter, I found within me an invincible summer. That is the spirit we are meant to carry, a light within, even when the world is cold, chaotic, and indifferent. Yes, life is absurd. Yes, the universe does not care. But this is not a reason to despair. It is a reason to live fiercely, laugh louder, love deeper, create boldly, fight for what matters to you, not because the world guarantees it will succeed, but because the act itself is proof of your rebellion, your freedom, your life. We are all Sisyphus pushing our stones. Some days the weight feels unbearable, some days the climb feels pointless. But the secret is not at the top of the mountain. The secret is in the struggle itself, and in the courage to smile while pushing. And here's a question for you. What is your boulder? What struggle in your life feels impossible, yet gives you the chance to find strength you never knew you had? Write it in the comments below. I want to hear your story. If this video gave you a new perspective, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more insights that help you navigate the chaos of life. Because in the end, we are all surfers on the waves of chaos, and the choice is ours. Will we sink or will we ride?